Hi, how are you? How old are you? And does it show? Now, I happen to meet with a lot of people that I tell my age and they say, hey, you don't look it. And that's an interesting topic. I don't know whether it shows, I don't know whether you feel as strong as you felt when you were young, and I don't know how old you are right now. But our guest today is going to talk to us about how to decrease your biological age. This is Now Tell Us, and I'm your host, Anthony Moirore. Welcome to the show. Now, as we progress, I would like you to send in your comment or questions, and we will be glad to answer them. We are always appreciative of every feedback that you give us. And this program has been successful because of you. So we appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And now, without taking one more minute, reminding you that if you need to see the past episodes and future episodes, you can always go to nowtellus.com. I welcome you to join me now to go and meet our guest today, who is known as Ian Clark. Are you ready? Here we go. Hi, Ian.
Anthony, how's it going?
It's going on well, and I hope it's doing so on your side.
Yeah, everything's going great here. Been
Yeah.
getting better every minute.
Okay, where are you?
I'm east of Toronto in Ontario, Canada.
Oh, okay, that's a good place. And how's the weather? Hot, cold?
Well, we're in the thick of winter, but it's weird because it's not that cold right now. Normally in January it's like 20 below and it's running around freezing, around 0 Fahrenheit and about or zero Celsius.
Hmm.
So it's not.
It seems like the world is changing. I also don't feel as cold as I used to feel in January where I am. I'm in Athens, Greece right now, and it's not as cold. So we appreciate that, although sometimes it drives us into another topic that we are not dealing with today. Now, we would be interested to know, is that where you were born and grew, or did you move there?
Well, I was born not too far from here, and
Mm,
I also lived out in the western part of Canada for 26 years in a city called Edmonton, which was the most northern city in North America. And it gets 40 below out there sometimes. So but yeah, I've been here 65 years this year altogether, and 26 years out west in the middle of all that. So we've been back here for 20 years now, living in Ontario. I married my wife out in Edmonton. We have 7 children, and we moved everybody back here in 2002. They were all born in Edmonton, so that was a big a journey.
wow, 7 children. Now you're the
Yeah.
kind of people we need who are making the population. We were born seven, and I always appreciate the fact that we are many in the family. So
Mhm.
congrats.
Yes. And where were you born?
I was born in Kenya.
Wow, that's
Have
really
you
warm down there.
heard about it?
Yeah, very
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So that's where I was born, and that's where I grew up. And when I was born, and I was born in a farm where we used to cultivate our own food, grow our own sweet potatoes, maize, uh, every kind of thing that you would mention. And we used to eat what I now consider was a luxury, not like what we are doing now. We imagine like that we were lacking back then, but now I appreciate that fact. And so when I saw you and I saw you share some interesting things, I wanted to learn more of what it is that you are sharing with us. on how to decrease your biological age. We're gonna find out more. But before we go that far, uh, is this what you're doing, or that you've been doing from the word go? What's your career? Or maybe was your career, is now is your career? Let's know.
Right. So the last 16 years, I've been directly involved in finding out how to manage the human body, regardless of age, gender, or nationality or background. There's a certain very specific way that all of us have to learn how to manage our bodies. And I knew at the age of 46 that I didn't know how to manage my body because I was going to lose my body. I had a big tumor and I had some heart disease stuff going on. I had various different things that were very symptomatic, that the doctors wanted to do different surgeries to me and different treatments. And that scared me quite a bit at the time. And what I found out was that there are people on the earth who actually have a deep knowledge of how to correct problems inside the human body that are shortening people's lives and also lowering the quality of life in the day-to-day life in their physical health, which affects really everything. And so if I would have continued on the path I was on at that point, I would have been exited by 49, 50 years old based on the problems that I was having. And once I found out what the cause of the problems were, then I was able to detoxify the body from those elements that cause those things to show up. And that took many years to learn. But I learned quick enough that within the first 5 years of finding out that I was in very bad physical condition, I was able to reverse all of that and get back into a healthy medical range. That started in 2004. By 2009, I was at least considered in a safe place by doctors, and without any of their treatments, just getting regular measurements and blood panels and various different devices that could tell you where your organ function was at. And so then from 2009 onward, I then wanted to learn how to become extremely healthy without having to chase my tail all day long. I didn't want to have to be an ultimate health nut. I wanted to just become a healthy person, to know that my body's going to continue to live. And so I was like, at 46, I was like an 84-year-old ready to be taken off the scene because I didn't know how to manage my body. And now I'm 65 and I'm like a 25-year-old with my levels of health that are extremely robust. So I have not only, achieved a very safe medical health record, I now have a very high level functioning body that is able to maintain itself without going in that dying process. That took a lot of learning.
Yeah, and I'm curious to know, what are those kind of things? What are those things that cause the imbalance? What are those things that we should deal with that are taking us in the downward direction?
Right. Well, the main thing that happened with me, because everyone's so unique and everybody has a different background and a different experience. But with myself, I spent 17 years from the age of 18 till 35 years old working in the oil and gas industry. So I was literally out in the field on the rigs and on the oil wells and the gas wells. And there you're exposed to a large amount of heavy metals, different poisonous chemicals, gases, and a dangerous environment in general, where I was injured in a few occasions, physically injured. And so that sets you back more and more. I didn't realize how much it set me back until I was getting into my 40s. And then all the results of that started to show up. And so that's highly unusual. Most people would never go through that. But on top of that, I also did not understand toxicity in the food environment, in the fluids we drink, or the air we're breathing. So when I started to learn about what was really happening a little bit every single day, taking us in the wrong direction, from mostly the air we breathe, which has billions of pounds of rubber dust a year, brake dust, volatile organic compounds from all the painting and every imaginable industry, from cars to houses to different construction sites and so on. And then all the unburnt fuel. Then you have all the plastics and the chemicals and the resins and the heavy metals that are released from all these industrial pollutants. And I didn't want to become all upset about that, but you can't see this material because it's so tiny
Mm.
that you can't even smell it or see it or taste it, but it's released. And the government knows that. They publish data reports on it. And I realized that that was building up in my body over the years, and I was doing nothing about getting it out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the body is a good detoxification bioorganism, but it can get behind, and my body was falling behind because I had too many toxins coming at me at once.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had to find out, oh, you got to hydrate properly. You have to move around. You got to do some exercise. You have to get these things out of your system, but you also have to stop them from coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched the food I was eating, making sure I did not have any more contaminated food and food that was healthy for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, watching the sugar levels, making sure I was getting healthy fats, making sure my protein levels were up, and also managing stress. There's a lot of stress in the world, more every year. And stress is a silent killer in the background because you have an autonomic nervous system that works in sympathetic stress to get the job done during the day, but it's got to go into parasympathetic at nighttime to rest and digest and heal.
Mm.
And a lot of people get stuck in sympathetic stress. I was stuck in sympathetic stress badly and didn't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
I would go to sleep, but I wouldn't have deep enough sleeps. And once I understood how to manage that and how to go through protocols, which we can't go through today because we don't have time, but there is a very specific protocol on managing your autonomic nervous system that anyone can do. It does not cost any money. It just takes a little bit of time. And then that resets your system. So then you can go into parasympathetic for sleeping and digesting and repairing your body, which gives you highly rejuvenating sleep. So the more you recharge, the longer your life, the better your quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
And so deep sleeps, stress management, detoxification, proper nutrition, and hydration change the whole game. And the unfortunate thing is when people drink water, that dilutes the electrolytes in their body. And there's another protocol that we can talk about some other time on how to fix that. But getting your hydration proper so your body can then have enough fluid to work with so that you never get high blood pressure, you never, like all those things that show up like symptoms, diseases, cancers, heart disease, strokes, high blood pressure, you know, diabetes, all those things show up as an alarm that goes off.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no cure for those things, but there's a way to avoid them happening.
Mm.
And so what I did, because I was being told I had all these bad things, but I found out that the way to correct them was not to find a cure, was to find the cause and then deal with the cause and get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the big thing. So that's kind of been the process. It's been 16 years. And at the very beginning of the journey, starting at around 2007, once I learned enough on how to do things, then I found out about different nutrients. And these nutrients are very unique. People had never heard of them before. One of them was marine phytoplankton. And when I found out how wonderful it was to support my body's energy system, I wanted people to find out about it. So I told some people, and within 24 months, ended up selling millions of dollars worth of the product to people without even having a proper company or sales or marketing or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have a company to put it through. So I just helped others do that. And it was profound. It was like, wow, people really are looking for these things. And this one really worked. So it made its own way.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I saw that, then we started a company. The company never got fully into swing until 2014. So it took a long time to learn and understand and how things work that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then from 2014 till now, I had access personally through the company to be able to reinvest millions of dollars into research. And that means that we were researching not to find out all the things you can do, but to find out the very minimal things that you could do that have the most effect.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I want for me, and I think you want for you, and everybody would like for themselves, is to have the least amount of time involved, the least amount of energy, the least amount of effort, and the least amount of money to invest to get the most amount of return.
Mm-hmm.
Because we could spend thousands of dollars a month on our health, and I don't believe in that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when we find out the truth about the most things that I found out that were wonderful didn't cost any money.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few products that are very complementary to the protocol, they cost a little bit of money. They're not that expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You might spend $1 a day on something, right? On one or two things, maybe $3 a day, and it profoundly changes your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that was the goal right from the beginning. And now that's actually come to fruition with the learning that we have now of how you, me, and everyone has to learn how to manage their own body. And so the faster you're dying, the sooner you die. The slower you die, the longer you live. So I found out how to slow the aging process right down to you can barely tell that you're aging anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That means that we could live a very, very long extended period of time. But it's not about how long you live, it's about your high quality of life on top of that. Because,
Yeah.
I've seen people live till 100 and they have a very low quality of life and they want to die. And that's no fun. If you're going to live till 100 or 150 or 200 or whatever it's going to be, you want to have a very high quality of life. So your topic of decreasing your biological age is a big deal. And then keeping it down there, keeping it young, being useful, feeling fantastic, where your body is mobile, it's flexible, it's agile, it's strong, it's powerful. And your brain power should always be getting better, not worse. A lot of people find that as they age, they get brain fog and they forget things. And this is a terrible indication that something is wrong.
So how do we deal with that?
Well, you got to have hydration, minerals, and nutrients, and you got to get better, deeper sleep. Because when people age, they get less and less quality sleep and shorter sleep. That's because their body is filling up with debris that it's like they're turning into a statue. They get stiff and sore, and they get high blood pressure, and then they get heart disease, and they have strokes, and they have all these things that happen because their body is getting congested. So you have to decongest your body. Everybody worries about their immune system. Well, your immune system is really a detoxification system. If you get mucus is good to get rid of. That's part of the ways that your body expels things. But if somebody gets mucus, they want to suppress it with, some kind of a drug. No, let it go. Let it get it out, right? You feel a million times better after you get rid of all the junk out of your system. So it's getting the brain power is a major thing, because without the proper nutrition, or if you have pathways that are blocked to go to your brain, then your brain can't function as well. If you're dehydrated, your brain starts to shrink, and then the body communication goes down. That's where Alzheimer's and dementia comes in. That takes people out. They might live till 100, but then their brain is gone and they can't think. And what's the point? So it's the exact opposite of what everyone believes should be, is how it really can be, where you're getting better and smarter and faster and stronger as you age. That's what we've learned about.
Oh, I better take my water.
Yeah. Well, the water, depending on what's in the water, is going to depend on whether it's hydrating you or dehydrating you.
Oh, let's learn about that. How is that?
So pure water, when you think about water, it's a super solvent. So why is there less minerals in the soil every year? Is because for thousands of years, distilled water, which is very hungry, falls on the earth as rain, condenses and falls on the earth because it evaporated out of the oceans and the freshwater lakes. And then it rains on the soil and it washes the minerals out of the soil down into the water table. And then that goes into the little streams and tributaries and rivers and out to the ocean. So we're getting deprived of the minerals. So some people bring ocean water in and they spray it on the fields in a very diluted manner to get it back into the plants. Or some people add sea salt to the water and they drink it. But the most important thing is the water you drink should not be just H2O. It should be a structured, mineralized water that donates minerals to your body. Instead of your body donating to pure water and then you pee it out of your body, you lose it. It's just like if you sweat a lot, people have to take salt, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's the same principle. You're breathing all the time. You're always, you breathe 11,000 liters of air a day. So there's moisture going out of your system. And so you need to be hydrated with fluids, but it's not pure water, because pure water dehydrates you by taking your electrolytes away. So the medical world tells you, oh, drink more water, but that's counterproductive. And people think, oh, I got to drink water to stay hydrated. No, it's the exact opposite. You need to have properly structured and mineralized water And there's a whole protocol around that. We're actually doing a course right now. This hasn't been released yet, but by February, we're going to have a course on this because people can then learn, and then you become the manager. You manage yourself. You have the knowledge. You've got the information you need, and then you can also help others around you with the knowledge that you share.
Wow, that's very, very good. And it's good that you bring these things to mind because you say someone needs to be 100, but they've been living a careless life. You don't pay close attention to your everyday activity. You don't pay close attention to what it is that you're eating. You don't pay close attention to your environment, where you're living, whether it's friendly, whether it's a healthy environment. So each and every time that we have a conversation like this, we go back to thinking, am I going in the right direction? Am I taking care of things, or am I living carelessly?
Yeah, that's a big thing. Being more careful. So I learned there's 3 C words that made a difference to me.
Okay.
Is how much do I care about myself, right? Is also going to determine how much I care about others. Because if I don't care about me, how could I care about you, right? But if I've learned to be careful, full of care for myself, then that required that I had to learn knowledge, which is capacity. So our capacity is the ability to store good information for wisdom. So you start with being more careful all the time, caring for yourself and others. And then you get a larger capacity for the knowledge that it takes to do it. And then the third part is to be courageous, because courage is something you have to earn. You don't just have courage. And courage comes by doing, by taking that first step and going, oh, I need to think about hydration. I need to think about detox. I need to think about, maybe I haven't been told the whole truth about things. Maybe there's an agenda by agencies that don't mind if I get sick and die when I'm 65 years old, right? Because then I'm not a burden on their pension system. And I turned 65 in June, right? Yeah. And I feel better than I did when I was 25, and I felt really good at 25. So there's something going on, major changes. So how you feel will then bring your enthusiasm up. And the more enthusiastic you are, the more you do. And the more you get results. There's nothing worse than doing a bunch of things and then not getting results. And there's nothing better than doing a bunch of things and getting results. Right. And that makes it fun. You got to be having fun. It's the old statement. If it isn't fun, it shouldn't be done.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah. And you want to feel great. Nothing feels like feeling good.
Yeah. And it's good that you tell us that now at 65, when I see many people being retired. I mean, in many countries, that's the age that people are sent home. And some of them are really tired when you look at them. Now, if you're at 65 and you feel as young as a 25-year-old, then it means the years ahead, you're going to face them with confidence and the courage that you talk about. And maybe you're going to achieve much more greater things than you've done in the past, because now you've got the experience, you've seen what works and what does not work. You tell us in a month's time there's a course coming. What other things do you have in plan for the future, big things?
Well, like you mentioned at 65, so now I realize that I personally am now just getting started, because it took all these years to go through that dangerous time and then come back and learn all these things of how to be physically very, very healthy. And now we can just carry that on, because there's a lot of people on the earth who are turning 21 years old right now.
Yeah.
And when you turn 21 is where your body just starts to begin to slowly age. It just starts to go slow. And then as it goes further into the years, it speeds up. So our goal is to get back to the 21-year-olds that are 21 now and catch them there, so that they learn these very simple principles to maintain that usefulness for as long as humanly possible. And or catch somebody at 30 or 40 or 50, wherever we catch them, even at 70 or 80, if they're still alive, they can reverse their biological age way back. Way back, like to 30, 40 again. And I know these things are true because I know some people, very few people know this, but the people who do, they've done it and they're doing extremely well. But they're so rare that people don't see it in cross section of society.
Mm-hmm.
So our experience is what's normal, right? What people, so, and it's really interesting because when you look at the mainstream of people who don't concern themselves too much about health,
Yeah.
they eat whatever's put in front of them. They don't think about detox. And based on their genetics, they may live till 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, even 100 years old,
Mm-hmm.
even in spite of the fact they didn't really watch their health.
Yeah.
But their quality of life kept going down until they're finally withered up, they're shriveled up, and then they die.
Mm-hmm.
And a person who's taught the normal things about healthier living, which is still missing a huge amount of the puzzle pieces,
Yeah.
at least it's better than not, but
Mhm.
they live only 5 to 8% longer than a person who didn't pay attention to their health.
Mhm.
So it's not that much longer. They do have a higher quality of life, but they're still missing the main components.
Mhm.
So once I learned what the truth of the main components were, then I realized, hold it, now we're totally different, because we can actually share this with hundreds of thousands of people to start with, and they
Yeah.
can immediately engage simply and affordably to be able to keep their body living, well, actually to reverse their biological age way back and then stay there for a very, very long period of time. Because
Mhm.
we're here to serve people.
Yeah.
We're not here to be magnates and build empires and take over people and run people and do as no. We're here to serve people.
Mhm.
And whenever we serve each other, it makes us very, very happy.
Okay.
You know? And if you
Yeah.
get somebody way up here, like, you know, mastering 1,000 slaves, that's not fun. That's
Yeah.
awful, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's the opposite of that.
Yeah. Now, in what way do you help people? Are there things you're offering? And like
Yes.
minerals and things like that? Tell us, and then drive us to how they can connect with you, because we are almost nearing the end of the episode.
Yeah. So I'll give you one example, and then we'll tell people where to go.
Yeah.
How important is dental health?
Very
Dental
important.
health, very important, right? Because
Yeah.
if you get bad dental, it can affect your whole body. It can give you heart disease. It can infections and root canals and tooth decay and all kinds of problems. People
Yeah.
have a lot of problems with their dental. Everybody goes to the dentist. So
Yeah, sure.
this particular product, we produce this very product. This is called black seed oil,
Okay.
and it's actually black cumin, cumin seed
Mhm.
oil,
Mhm.
and it's known for thousands of years.
Yeah.
But it's a dental product. I didn't know it was a dental product until just a little while ago when I started doing experimenting, because everyone knows this is a whole body tonic. It helps your body stay healthy. It's good for your skin. It's good for your hair. It's good for aches and pains. You know,
Yeah.
it soothes your body if you rub it in. But
Mhm.
when you put it in your mouth, all you got to do is take 1 teaspoon a day and put this in your mouth
Mhm.
and chew it for a minimum 1 minute,
Mhm.
preferably 2 minutes. Let it swish around, and it starts to bring health into the mouth, to fix the gum problems, to get rid of the bacteria, to make your teeth whiter, to get rid of the decay, to avoid all that. And then you gargle it for 15 seconds after you chew it for a couple of minutes.
Mhm.
And then you get a glass of water and you drink the water down with it to wash it out of your throat so you don't have oil there.
Yeah.
And within a very short period of time, you're going to notice a big change in your dental. Now, you still get the full body benefit because you've swallowed it. Only 1 teaspoon a day.
Okay.
Now, the place where you find this is we have a website set up where people can connect directly with us.
Mhm.
So they're not talking to somebody and then somebody else. It's right with us, with the company. And it's at activationproducts.com. And if you could post a little link there, then people can go and find that. And they just go and they can search around, and there's every single product on our site, and there's not very many products,
Mhm.
but every single one have been thoroughly thought through and researched to deliver the different things that allow your body to reverse its age. So that's what this is all about. I see products as only complementary, but they're very important.
Mhm.
The most important thing is the knowledge we share.
Okay.
And so we have a list that people can get on to get a newsletter, to get connected with all of our information. We share as much as we can, as often as possible. And then they also get connected to any specials we're running for any products. So
Okay.
that's where they can go.
So thank you very much. That's www.activationproducts.com. Go there and find out what's there and learn how to decrease your biological age. This has been Now Tell Us, and we thank Ian for being with us here. Thank you very much, Ian. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you, Anthony, for having me on the show. It was fun. It was a very good time. We'll see you again soon.
Yes, see you again soon. But before we go, we'd like you to leave us with a few words that we should always remember.
Okay, well, the one thing is to build your joy and build your enthusiasm and get courageous and take full responsibility for yourself. And you don't blame yourself for anything. Don't blame anybody else for anything, but take responsibility. And when you do that, you'll find that the love for yourself and the care for yourself will always increase. And that then increases the care and love for everyone around you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much, Ian. And thank you to all our viewers and listeners. We really appreciate you also being with us for all the feedback that you give us. We appreciate. And that's about it for today. This has been Now Tell Us. And I have been your host, Anthony Morore. And together with our guest, Ian Crack, we are saying bye for now.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Take full responsibility.
Yes.